Oblik reached out to me and sent me their custom design based on a scan of my face interfaces for both the Valve Index and Quest 3. In this video, I'll discuss whether or not I think you should upgrade to these more expensive but custom face interfaces. Hello, this is Ender and welcome to my VRcade. Perhaps like many of you, you either couldn't stand your Quest 3 facial interface and you chose to or watched my review and at least considered upgrading to the AMVR Quest 3 facial interface as a way to alleviate the extreme discomfort because there was no other option on the market that still don't have great battery solutions, but at least you have options. And for the Quest 3, the only option we've had so far is this AMVR interface and some knockoffs you can see on Amazon for less money. Note on that, I did make a mistake in the last video saying this was about 20 bucks. It was $39. My apologies. And due to the popularity of that last video, thank you for all of you who tuned in. A company, as I said, named Oblik sent me their custom designed facial interfaces using an iOS or Apple phone app. Sorry, you'll need to borrow friends if you want to go ahead and purchase one of these. If you don't have an Apple phone, that's free. You can go ahead and download, try out, and see how it works to use and create a custom designed interface for your Quest 3. So while I do think the AMVR facial interface is a significant upgrade over the stock one, it is more comfortable, it's far from perfect. I talked about light leakage. I talked about this adjustment for eye relief for eyeglasses. And now that I've played with it longer, I have noticed, as some of you have commented, that it is kind of flimsy. You know, you can make these adjustments. You can actually pull off and remove, I would say even too easily, the nose guard or the light blocker. Yeah, it's great that you can actually pull this off and you can attach a bHaptics interface. So it does have some versatility. It might be great for aerobic activities because you do have all these vents, but it's not perfect, and I never said it was. I did think it was a significant upgrade, though. Perhaps some of you, like me, were excited at the thought of this because there's a lot of popularity with the big screen and beyond and its custom fit facial interface and a lot of rave reviews about it. So I was excited to try this. I don't know if I would have spent $89 because I'm satisfied with the AMVR for the most part, but hey, it was sent to me for free. It was no risk for me to go ahead and try it out. Let me help you decide if it might be worth your consideration as well. So after you download the app, it's free to download and try it out. You can see that it conducts a scan of your face. It looks a lot like the Crystal eye tracking I've done, or the PlayStation VR2 eye tracking, where it actually, you move your head around instead of your eyes in this case, and it actually has some points that it tracks on your face and then creates a 3D model of your face and shows you a facial interface built around the actual shape of your face. So in theory, you're going to get some of the best comfort. Not only that, it has sliders in the app where you can choose what are the most important features to you in a facial interface. Do you prioritize field of view or comfort? Do you wear prescription lens inserts? And I should note that after I put in my order, I was contacted by Oblik and asked which lens insert brand I used so they could make just the right amount of proper allowance for those lens inserts, which I think is a pretty cool touch. And I was even a little skeptical about how much this facial interface and its custom fit would actually be custom. I have experienced a 3D printed face interface before. This is from my G2 when there were no other options on the market. Thanks to Null for creating this. I've only experienced a silicone cover that went over the stock Quest 2 face interface, and I wasn't impressed. It wasn't a good fit, and I felt like I got incredibly sweaty because it didn't absorb any sweat. I mean, PU leather doesn't either, but I don't know how to explain it. I felt like the silicone cover was a poor, loose fit and led to a lot more sweating. So when I got this interface from Oblik, I was impressed in both those areas. It truly does feel like it fits my face like a glove. It's something that I didn't think I needed. Going to this custom fit face interface is a lot like what I said about the Pimax Crystal. Ignorance is bliss until you know better. This really does fit my face like a glove. And the silicone is a lot squishier and kind of molds to your face exceptionally well. I saw how thin this was, and I was concerned this wasn't going to create enough padding. However, it is like those Dr. Scholl's gel insoles. It really does squish quite a bit or compress a fair amount, not as much as the cushion on, say, the AMVR interface where it's softer still, but because it's got more resistance and doesn't squish down as much, it kind of molds to your face better, if that sounds good. I played this for a little over 2 hours and I was really impressed. One of the things I noticed most is that because of the kind of the mold ability or kind of stickiness, I would say, of this interface is that it doesn't really slide around very much at all. I mean, your skin moves around on your face, right? But it really sticks to your face and it doesn't feel uncomfortable. I mean, look at that. It's really just sitting there. So it really does sit there, partly because of the glue-like texture, almost, I would say, the stickiness of the silicone gasket, which might not sound great, but it really does stay in place. And unlike, say, the traditional polyurethane, I believe it is, or PU leather, fake leather, where you have kind of all these wrinkles in here, you're never getting a perfect fit. I mean, it's a one-size-fit-all facial interface. I mean, it doesn't mold to your face, and you really have to press down in a lot of cases to get a snug fit, and then the pressure's not going to be totally even. However, this and VR Cover is what I'm used to, and generally I've been happy with them. I will say, though, that this is much more comfortable and does really feel like it's custom fit to your face. I think the biggest downside others have noted, and I have experienced myself after playing with this interface longer, is that yes, you are able to get very, very close to your face and you can really crank it down and squish the foam down. But then particularly on the Quest 3, you're getting a lot of nasal pressure. And I don't really think it's from this nose guard. I've really taken off the nose guard and found that you can just really crank down too much on the Quest 3 and you're getting pressure kind of on your nostrils, making breathing a little restricted, versus with this interface. And I was really skeptical not having a nose or light blocker here. It gets as close to your face as it's supposed to. And I didn't feel any pressure here around my nose. And I was really skeptical that this would block light. Now, Oblik does have a guide of where this should fit in relation to the light blocker. And what was most helpful was to actually look, as they recommended, at the face scan and review where this was designed to fit on my face. And I found that for me, it fits naturally and correctly right above the tip of my nose. Unless I look down and lower my top lip and kind of scrunch my face down, there is no light leakage and there's nothing touching my nose. And it's custom fit to the shape of my nose. So it really is a darn near perfect fit. There is no light leakage. And yeah, I'm going to continue using this. I don't see any reason for me to go back to the AMVR. It is twice the price. Many of you have said you're waiting to see what about VR Cover. You know, they've been making great face interfaces in the past, and how would their stack up? Well, I don't know. The Quest 3 one isn't out yet. Who knows when it'll be out? I was probably going to wait for that too, except I just couldn't stand the stock Quest 3 interface. So I went with the AMVR. It's an upgrade. VR Cover, chances are, let's be real, is probably going to be better than AMVR. I don't deny that. The best thing I can do is compare my Valve Index VR Cover face interface to the Oblik one that was sent to me. And I believe this is their first product. And I compared them side by side. And yes, the VR Cover face interface is what I have been using up until this point. It's comfortable. It's got a lot of foam, a little too much actually. I use a HTC Vive face interface instead because it's thinner. And here's kind of some indications of why you still might want to consider a custom fit face interface like Oblik's. VR Cover is a one-size-fits-all solution. Look at this. They give you these little tabs to kind of make up for the fact that it's not a perfect fit face interface, right? It's one size fits all. Whereas the Oblik one, you can see how thin it is. In fact, one of the things about this interface versus the Quest 3 is I decided, since the valve index, one of its biggest benefits is its super wide field of view, was I cranked that slider all the way to the max for maximum field of view, which would mean probably a trade-off in comfort. And that was true. So if I wear this interface with, if you know the valve index, it has a eye comfort relief dial. I usually, with the VR cover interface, have that cranked all the way down, so it's as close to my eyes as it can possibly be, and it's pretty comfortable. There's a little pressure from the valve index lenses pushing on the bridge of my nose, but again, you can adjust it with eye relief. So I'm able to get much closer with the stock one with the VR cover, and it is comfortable. However, because I chose to go with maximum field of view on the slider, you can see here, this is very thin compared to, say, I know it's a different model here, but I'm trying to give you some perspective here, compared to, say, the Quest 3, what it shows me for the light blocker. This was so close that the lenses actually protrude past the frame and the silicone cover ever so slightly in spots of this Oblik interface. So if you truly want the most close field of view, or widest field of view, the closest fit possible, this will do it. But with the eye relief set to its closest setting with this interface, I actually had a lot of pressure on the bridge of my nose. In a way, I'm okay with that because I could just dial back on the eye relief. I do think that I'm going to continue using this interface just with the eye relief not at its closest setting, and it's still more comfortable than this foam here and having these kind of imperfections. Do you need to spend $40 more for a custom interface? I think only if you haven't been satisfied with an aftermarket interface that you've tried before. So if you've been happy with VR cover, I think chances are you will probably be so again. But if you want the best, then I do think this is a better solution, and it is twice the price. I think one thing to consider is that this is custom fit. It has to use an app and scan your face, which costs money to develop. And unlike VR cover, Oblik, well, I've never heard of them before. It's a small company, so they don't have the benefits of lower cost and mass production versus a bespoke fit. So I do think it's worth the extra cost. It's warranted, it's justified if having the most comfortable, best fit interface custom designed to you is what you want and feel like you need. If you're brand new to VR and you just picked up a Quest 3, maybe just go with the AMVR if you're not too picky and you just want a significant increase in comfort over the stock interface. It should also be noted that Oblik does have a policy that they will, if you're unsatisfied with the fit, that they will consult with you and print you a new one. Thank you all for watching and helping my channel continue to grow. I truly appreciate it.